What's going on, everyone? So we're all waiting around to see how will the San Antonio Spurs continue to kind of round out the roster. And one of the guys I would love to see the Spurs maybe consider bringing in really comes down to if he wants to come to the Spurs, but would be another Celtics big man and Al Horford. The San Antonio Spurs ended up bringing in Luke Kornet. I actually really like the idea of bringing in Al Horford for several reasons. One, he's still very good. He was in many ways the defensive anchor for the Boston Celtics, especially in that title run. He's a guy that can slot in at the 5, but also can slot in and play the floor. He's a guy that has played the 4 spot on several occasions over the course of his career. Even in Boston at times, you had Porzingis and Al Horford, or Kornet and Al Horford. So you have two kind of big men on the roster that have that chemistry, that have that relationship. But the biggest reason I like the idea of Al Horford is just to bring in that stable veteran that can kind of, like Chris Paul last year was so important for the Spurs, right? Just being that veteran that the young guys respect and listen to and kind of rally the troops and keep everybody together. Right? I look at the potential of Al Horford as something very similar, right? Like I like the idea of keeping Harrison Barnes. Right? I think Harrison Barnes is in that category, but Al Horford is a guy that's been there, done that, right? Like he's the unk, right? He's the old head. He's the guy that can help even guys like Victor Wembanyama, right? I mean, Al Horford is a stretch big. He's a guy that can knock down the 3 ball, and he's done it very well his entire career. Just being able to see things out there on the basketball court, right? Kind of help our young guys, whether they're forwards or centers, right? Just the players, period. I think that there is always going to be a benefit in those kind of guys, but Al Horford isn't a guy that you're just bringing in just to be, kind of an extension of the coach. Right, you're bringing him in just in that like Udonis Haslem role where all you're doing is just looking for him to just basically ride the bench and kind of help the young guys, right? No, I look at Al Horford as a guy that come in, really play a role. Right, still an excellent rebounder, can still shoot the 3 ball, he's still coming off of a really good season. I know people look at it and go, he's 39 years old. Well, look at Chris Paul last year, right? And he played all 82 games and started all 82 games. It was excellent for them. Al Horford's a guy that I think would make a ton of sense for the Spurs to bring in to kind of solidify their core. Right? Not just that, but like you could argue if him playing the 4 is like still the biggest need that the Spurs have. They have plenty of guard depth. Like the last thing they need is guard depth, but the wings, right? You have centers, right? Can you go get an Al Horford and slot him in at the 4? Problem is Al Horford is linked to teams like the Warriors and the Lakers where, he has a better chance to win with those teams right now. Like, I don't think anyone's expecting the Spurs to, hoist the Larry O'Brien at the end of the year. Right? I think that, they're a young team that's growing and building and developing where in the next, 2-3 years, now they're starting to make that progress to where it's like, okay, maybe this team really is a contending team. Maybe this team really is a problem. Like, we got to watch out for them. But right now, this year, kind of looking to kind of integrate the young guys. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be fun. I think that they could be a play-in team. Maybe stumble face first into the playoffs. I think that's a very real possibility. But if we're being honest, I don't think that they're going to be this like, they're going to be a top 5 seed in the Western Conference or anything like that. So again, it'd be tough to convince Al Horford to come like, hey, you're going to go to a team like the Lakers or a team like the Warriors, and they're trying to win championships, and they're going to keep remodeling, they're going to keep doing things, and can you come to us and be like a mentor and still get playing time? So there has to be incentive there. Either you're paying them more money than those teams would, or maybe you offer them the starting role, right? I don't think that's a bad idea either, right? Like, he's a guy slot in at the 4 alongside Victor Wembanyama, can stretch the floor, can still protect the rim, can still get steals, play defense out on the perimeter. Right? Like, what if you went, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle? See, the problem is, like, what are you going to do? Devin Vassell, right? They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Devin Vassell. A Al Horford and a Victor Wembanyama. Like, I don't hate that. Have Al Horford come and be, hold down, solidify the power forward role. I think he could help guys like Jeremy Sohan, right? Think of Jeremy Sohan. Like, what's the biggest issue for him? His lack of ability to stretch the floor and knock down the 3 ball. Al Horford might be able to be a vet that can kind of help in that manner. Help with Jeremy Sohan kind of working on his offensive game a little bit. Because, Jeremy Sohan, the problem is with Jeremy Sohan is just he gives you nothing offensively. Right, excellent defensively. He can, rebound, be that Swiss Army knife type guy. But offensively and shooting the basketball, aren't really something Jeremy Sohan's known for. So so if you could bring in a guy that maybe can kind of mentor him and work with him and kind of show him like, hey, this is how you can play the role. Like, let's kind of mold you out in that way. Also, I think Al Horford would be good for guys like Carter Bryant, right? Just like Harrison Barnes, right? Like Al Horford's a guy that I think can really kind of help shape our young forwards. And I do think that he can help, again, Victor Wembanyama a lot. I think Victor Wembanyama is a guy that he wants to play more perimeter oriented. He wants to do that. Well, Al Horford's kind of built a career that way, right? So he can help him kind of, hey, like these you should go here. Like these are the better spots, right? Like just based on hey, let's change this or like just kind of work on things with the young Victor Wembanyama and kind of help. It doesn't hurt to have a mentor and a guy that's been in the league for 20 years, right? Like the guy's built like literally the guy's been a staple in this league for so long. So that he's obviously doing something, right? Where teams are lining up to the door to go get him. I mean, he was drafted in 2007. So 18 years he has played. 2007, 2008 season. He was drafted. And he's been able to have a successful career from Atlanta to Boston, right? I mean, he's a guy that teams have not wanted to give up, right? Like Atlanta he ends up going to Boston. Boston let him go, right? Or traded him, I think. And then immediately regretted it and brought him back because they realized like, oh man, like, because he was so good for them. And they really needed him too. Like it was like a win-win scenario. And then he's been on Boston since. So that was just kind of Atlanta and Boston have kind of been the two places. The other two places he went to was Philadelphia and OKC. And it wasn't what it was with Boston, right? But I do think, again, Al Horford coming in, being that guy, slotted in that guy, I do think could really help this young team. Right? He's not a true 7-footer. He's 6'9", but he's got a 7'1" wingspan. But again, he's made a career as a power forward and center. Right? He's basically been a guy that has anchored defenses. He can be versatile, switchy. He's got that old man strength, right? Like he's the guy. But what does he do? What did he do last year? Well, 60 games played, 42 games started, 27.7 minutes per game, 7.7 field goal attempts per game, shot 42.3% from the floor, shot 36.3% from three-point range on 5.2 attempts. However, the two previous years, he shot 42% and 45% on 4 attempts and 5.2 attempts. So, was last year just kind of a bit of a down year. He is a career 38% guy. So even career-wise, it would have been a little bit of a down year. He also took 5.2 attempts. Some might think, well, maybe he just took too many attempts. No, the year that he shot 45% with Boston, he took 5.2 attempts. So just something to kind of keep in mind. 2-point range on 2.5 attempts, shot 55.1%, 54.7% EFG, which both are down the last 2 years. He had a 65.8% and then 54%, and then a EFG of 64 and 62.7 the last 2 years. So again, was last year a down year? Last year a decline year? I don't really think. I mean, again, his style of play is one of those that probably ages very well. Like he could probably play till he's 43. I don't think he will. But free throw shooting, not a lot of free throws. 0.6 attempts. Shot just under 90%, 89.5% from the free throw line. Rebounds, 6.2 rebounds, including 1.3 offensive rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block, and 9 points per game. So basically, he's a 9 and 6 guy that can be a swing man, make a couple plays, get a block, get a steal, and just, again, be that quality vet, be that quality player out there. The way I look at it, for the rest of the Spurs roster, right, I think you either go the vet route that can come in, play a role, but also kind of be a mentor to these young guys, or you go take a flyer on a young guy, right? You go, talked about like Imani Bates or something like that, right? Like somebody that can come in that has plenty of growth, upside, and potential that you can slot in and kind of, maybe do some magic and turn him into that guy that you're looking to kind of fill a role long term. And it's like, man, you found that diamond in the rough. So either take a flyer on a guy or bring in that vet that that can perform, that can play, but also help grow and impact your young kind of core and foundation, particularly the wings. Like think of Carter Bryant and stuff like that, right? Like I think that there's a path where Al Horford is incredibly impactful to those guys. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.